All right, shalom, 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 shalom. Brother Gadal, boy Yahweh, with service of Yahweh Shah, branch out here in Wisconsin. All right. First, I'm gonna start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory is due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Wadash. All praises to the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorant calls God. His one and true name is Yahweh. In the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorant calls Jesus Christ. His one and true name is Yahweh Shah. In the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the elder apostle, elder bishops of Great Millstone, Stewart Well. Peace and blessings to the whole full elect. Shalom, shalom. Right, so it's another whole conversation that I've been meaning to do. Right, I'm gonna get straight into it. Right, we're going into the Medo-Persian Empire. Right, we're gonna go into a couple of 12 rulers during that time. Right. So we're gonna get straight into it. And I got a few notes that I had taken. So bear with me, Bakasha. Shalom King Yahweh, Shema Shah, Shema Kakwadash Barakatah. Shema Al-Tah, brother. Beloved brother Laban Napash. Service to Yahweh Shah, Texas branch. Shalom. Right, so we're gonna get straight into it. Right, again, we are going into the Medo-Persian Empire. Right, so we're gonna get straight into it, and Lord willing, this is edifying. Right, so we're gonna get into Isaiah 45, and we're gonna start. I'll just start from the top. Right, this is verse 1. Thus said the Lord Yahweh to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I have holden to subdue nations before him, and I will loose the loins of kings, to open before him the two leaved gates, and the gates shall not be shut. I will go before thee and make the crooked places straight. I will break in pieces the gates of brass and cut in cinder the bars of iron. And I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, the Lord Yahweh, which called thee by thy name, am the power of Israel. Right? So this is the Lord is going into him anointing King Cyrus the Great, to basically overthrow the Babylonian Empire. And it was a couple more areas that they overthrew in conquest, right? And there was a lot of kings that they had that ruled, right? During this time, or during the time of the Medo-Persian Empire. And I'm gonna bring that all out. I actually had I wanted to go into there was a article by this university that talked about the Spartans during the time of Xerxes, which I'm gonna just put it up in the description box so brothers can go into there and read that they could be just scattered Israelites from the tribe of Simeon, man, right? I mean, Slankia, scattered Israelites from the tribe of Simeon Indians, Slankia. They were Simeon Indians, Slankia, and they were just stayed in that area around during that time of Xerxes so-called reigning after his father Darius. Right, so I'm getting into that later on though. So Lord willing, which I gotta probably change out the camera view because this is Prism, so just bear with me. So again, Isaiah 45 is going to on the Lord anointing King Cyrus to basically overthrow the Babylonian Empire. Right? It says verse 5. Let's see, verse 4. For Jacob my servant's sake, and Israel mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee though thou hast not known me. Verse 5. I am the Lord Yahweh, and there is none else. There is no power beside me. I girded thee, though thou hast not known me, that they may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none beside me. I am the Lord Yahweh, and there is none else. Right? I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord Yahweh, do all these things. Drop down, ye heavens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation, and let righteousness spring up together. I, the Lord Yahweh, have created it. Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Let the potsherd strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou or thy work? He hath no hands. Right? So the Lord is going into that he alone is the one and only power. That he set it up and he set it down. Let me get something. Give me 1 second with Bakasha. Come on, man. Oh, I'm in Rome. Probably might be in the wrong chapter. Slovakia. I'm just looking for this one specific precept that I want to back up my claims, but I might be in the wrong book. Give me 1 second. Go back to Shah. All right, Slovakia. If one of you blood brothers, Babak Shah can put up, it's in a book. It's one of the books of Samuel. The Lord killeth and maketh alive. I'm pretty sure I probably ran over it. The Lord bring down to the grave and bring it up. Babak Shah, if one of you blood brothers get that for me, Babak Shah, so I can continue with the video. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh, Bashim, Shah, Bashim, Kakadash. Khan, I knew. Hey, I went right over it. I always do that. The water, blood brother. The blood brother and the bod Posh guy on 1 Samuel 2 and 6. The Lord Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. So the Lord do all these things. The Lord setteth up kings and he bringeth them down as well. right? So I just wanted to get that in correlation that the Lord, He alone do these things, man. Right? He alone has the power to do these things, to set up rulers, to send us into captivity under one ruler, and then to bug that ruler out and to send us under another ruler, right? You know what I'm saying? To keep going on and on, you know. All right, so Khan. So I got if you want, I was gonna put also the Brenica about King Cyrus, but I'm gonna use the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary to bring out a little something about King Cyrus. Give me 1 second. All right, Khan. All right, Cyrus. Um, with the rise of Cyrus began the renowned Persian Empire, right? Which was to continue until the coming of Alexander the Great, right? The Great. Cyrus himself announced his genealogy. Um, I am Cyrus, the king of the hosts, or another word for host is king of armies, or you know what I'm saying, the great king, king of Babylon, king of Semer and Akkad, son of Cabyses, the king of Anshan, the grandson of Cyrus, the great grandson of Tiepsi or Tiespis, king of Anshan. In the same inscription, Cyrus proceeds to relate how the city of Babylon opened its gates to him without resistance. And the Lord had that in power, put him in power to do that. He was so strong that the Babylonians couldn't resist him. This empire couldn't do nothing with him, right? But I'm gonna get into how many rulers we're going into, how many rulers were basically running with King Cyrus, right? It says thus confirming the biblical account according in Daniel 5, when Darius, acting as vice regent for Cyrus, took the city of Babylon, and the name was Cyrus the Great. Cyrus entered Babylon on October 29th, 539 BC, right? And when you get into the history of the Babylonian Empire ending, it was 539 BC, right? It started around a little bit before 605 BC, right? Right, and it says, and presented himself in the role of the liberator of the people, right? He allowed the images of the powers to be transported back to their original cities, to institute a kindly policy of repatriation for captive peoples. He's talking about the Israelites, right? Um, his policies of moderation naturally extended to the Hebrews. See that? Whom he encouraged to return to Judea to rebuild their temple, right? So, you know, so I am gonna put up the Brenica so you can get into some history of King Cyrus. I wanted to get. I'm gonna hold that. I'm gonna hold. It got some precepts that I want to hold in that, right? And we're gonna again. I got a few things written down that I wanted to bring out as well. Slankil. But we're gonna get into Daniel 7. We're gonna talk about that bear with the bones in his mouth. All right. All right, this is Daniel 7. If we're going to get verse. All right. Verse 5. going to the Medo-Persian Empire. All kind. That's a beautiful one. And the beloved brother also got on Psalms 75:7. But power is the judge. He put it down one and set it up another. So the Lord do all these things. He put it down an empire. He bugged Nebuchadnezzar out, turned him to like a beast where he just was no longer himself, and set it up the Medo-Persian Empire over this empire. Right? This empire was no longer there. Then it was the Medo-Persian Empire, right? So let's get that in Daniel 7. Throw out for that precept, brother. Daniel 7:5. And behold, another beast second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Right? And then you get into those, if I'm not mistaken, those 3 ribs representing Babylon, Egypt, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the areas. Babylon, Egypt, Libya, and Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken. And correct me if I'm wrong, brothers. But I think it was Babylon, Egypt, and Libya and Ethiopia was like one and the same. Which I can let me get something. Give me 1 second. Just to prove a point. Let's go into the book of Ezekiel. Because this would be good history to always have. Alright. Khan, okay. This is we're gonna start. Alright, so we're gonna start at verse 30, Ezekiel 30. The word of the Lord Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, how ye woe worth the day. Lay down. Go lay down. Salakia. Go lay down. Salakia, Israel. It says, For the day is near, even the day of the Lord Yahweh is near. A cloudy day, it shall be the time of the heathen. And the sword shall come upon Egypt, right? This is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire getting ready to take over, right? The sword shall come upon Egypt, and great pain shall be in Ethiopia, when the slain shall fall in Egypt, and they shall take away her multitude, and her foundation shall be broken down. Ethiopia, right? And Libya, and Lydia, and all the mingled people in Cub, and the men of the land that is in the league shall fall with them by the sword, right? Because it's the Medo-Persian Empire conquering, right? And I'm gonna show you how long they was conquering for, right? I'm gonna show you time frames when they was conquering. Well, I'm gonna get into it as what I wrote down, right? It says, verse 6, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, they also that uphold Egypt shall fall, and the pride of her power shall come down. From the tower Sin shall they fall in it by the sword, saith the Lord Yahweh. Right? It says, And they shall be desolate in the midst of the countries that are desolate, and her cities shall be in the midst of the cities that are wasted. And they shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh when I have set a fire in Egypt, right? And when all her helpers shall be destroyed. In that day shall messengers go forth from me in ships to make the careless Ethiopians afraid, and great pain shall come upon them as in the day of Egypt, for lo, it cometh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will also make the multitude of Egypt to cease by the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. So this is also getting into because Nebuchadnezzar was ruling some of these areas during these times. When the kings of Persia started to come in, they took over these areas. They stretched out around these areas, if I'm not mistaken. Let me get something else. All right. Give me 1 second. All right, so Khan, as I was saying, yeah, this is during time. A lot of those areas Nebuchadnezzar conquered, but it was going into them same areas Nebuchadnezzar conquered. Ethiopia and all those areas. The Medo-Persians conquered those areas because they took over Babylon, and a lot of those areas that Nebuchadnezzar had conquered, they got conquered by the Medo-Persians. Um, so let's go to the Book of Daniel, Salakia. So, and Lord willing, I ain't lose anybody. All right, let's get Daniel 2, and let's get verse um 32. Let's start at verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass. All right, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. So that's going into this statue, right? As you see, Nebuchadnezzar saw the head of gold, the arms of silver. Then it gets into the brass and the iron and the clay and stuff. It gets into all that, right? That's going into the empires that was going to rule right during this time, or during what he's seen during the time of when they were supposed to be set up, right? And let's go down to verse let's just keep going because it is a beautiful chapter. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, which is NATO and the EU, right? And break them to pieces, which later on in the future, some of Yahweh Shai come back. The kingdom of Yahweh are ushering in, right? It says, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, and the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together. But the Lord will break all those. He gonna break all that. And the gold broke into pieces together and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, and that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. It says, thou, O king, art a king of kings, for of the power of heaven he have given thee a kingdom, power and strength and glory. So that's going back into what the beloved brother had put up, saying that the Lord set it up and he set it to bring it down. And that's going back into me going into that same verse that the beloved brother put up in the book of Samuel, 1 Samuel, if I'm not mistaken. The Lord killeth and the Lord maketh alive, so the Lord do all these things, right? So this is going to the Lord give a king Nebuchadnezzar rule during his time, right? It says and this verse 38, and wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thy hand, meaning given dominion, given power over, right? And have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art the head of gold. This talking about, so the head of gold is the Babylonian Empire, right? So Nebuchadnezzar was the head of gold, for better words, right? And then I went into other rulers around the time during the Babylonian Empire that was ruling Nebuchadnezzar II. You had his sons, right? Stepsons, brothers, right? So let's keep going. And after thee shall rise another kingdom. It's going into that other kingdom, right? The Medo-Persian kingdom. And after thee shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth, right? And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise, right? And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with merry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. So this going into later on in the future, we get dealing with them feet, man, right? Dealing with what we dealing with now, right? The NATO and the EU, the feet, the merry clay and the iron, right? The revised Roman Empire, right? That's the end, and that's where we at, right? So I wanted to get that, and I wanted to also bring out that I'm gonna put it up in the description box because I can't show it right now, and I wish I could get it to be very edifying. But if you get into during the time of the 12 rulers of Persia, right, the Medo-Persian 12 rulers, they also called it the Achaemenid Empire, if I'm not mistaken, the Achaemenid Empire. And if you read you can get into First Maccabees, and it gets into, let me go, give me 1 second. And it gets into let's go to chapter 12. You read in chapter 12, it talks about the time where Darius was, if I'm not mistaken, who was ruling during that time, right? But I can't bring out what I wanted to bring out because I can't show the article that I wanted to show. But I got some more. I got some during this time just to prove points, show y'all the time frames, right? And then I'm gonna bring out some more precepts. But I was gonna bring out some of these 12 rulers because that's where I'm at. I want to bring out some of these 12 rulers that was ruling, right? You got during the 6th century BC, right? So during the time of the Babylonian Empire, let's say from around 550 BC until like for the 530s, going into the 520s, right? During this time where the Medo-Persian Empire was ushering in, these were the Medo-Persian rulers. You had Cyrus the Great going in at 550 BC to 530 BC, right? You got Cambyses the second going into 530 BC to 522 BC. So that's the Babylonian Empire was gone during the time of Cambyses, right? It was out the way during that time. So the Medo-Persian Empire was already ushering in, as you see, 539 to 331 BC for the Medo-Persian Empire, right? If y'all see that, I got it written down, right? So these were certain rulers that was already, see, the Lord had already had this set up for these certain rulers to already be pushing their ass out the way. Excuse my French, but pushing them out the way, man. Because that's how the Lord do things. He orchestrates things as a Trojan horse. He already has certain rulers already orchestrating, boom, push them out the way. And while this is orchestrating in to push this out the way and overtake this, these are the kings. Again, that's why I said these are some of the kings. And again, this is the 6th century. So around this time of the 6th century, right? You got after Cambyses the second, and after 522 BC, you got Bardia, the 522 BC, right? He didn't reign that long, just that year, 522 BC. So he was during this time of it changing or shifting over, and during the Middle Persian Empire started reign. This Bardia only reigned that year, 522 BC. Then behind Bardia, you had Darius the First the Great, right? Was 522 BC to 486 BC. That's the Medo-Persian Empire was fully ushered in during this time, Slovakia. The Medo-Persian Empire was fully ushered in this time, right? Well, Darius the first was reigning, the great, right? Give me 1 second. Want to see some? Give me 1 second, Slovakia. Yeah, so it ain't God. The Zondervan Compact Dictionary ain't God. It might be. Let me see. Let me see. No, it gets into a little bit about Daniel, but um it don't go into Darius in this. So Slovakia. All right, so I'm just continue. So during the time of Darius the first, the Great, this would have been around the time Daniel was around the time of the Babylonian Empire as well. If brothers didn't know that, right? Daniel was prophesying to Nebuchadnezzar about him being the head. Then about he was also prophesying about these other empires that was coming behind, right? So brothers didn't know that. So Daniel was still alive during the time of Darius the first coming into power, right? Because if you read about up on Daniel, it talks about that Darius was reigning during the time of Daniel, right? So your brothers didn't know that. Then we get into the 5th century. Let's get into the 5th century. Still the Medo-Persian Empire, right? Still the Medo-Persian Empire. I want to get something. It's Slovakia, because I was going. This is gonna be. I knew this lesson was gonna be a little long, but hey, it's a whole conversation, man. All right, all right. Let's get Daniel 5, and let's get the end of the Babylon. And let's start at verse. I'm gonna start at Daniel 5, and I'm gonna start at verse uh 18. O thou king, the most high power gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he slew, and whom he kept alive, and whom he set up, and whom he put down. Right? So it's going to the Lord setting up kingdoms. Going into the Lord setting up Nebuchadnezzar, setting up Nebuchadnezzar's father, right? Setting up Nebuchadnezzar's sons and Nebuchadnezzar's brother, Nebuchadnezzar's sons' brothers, right? This is what this is going into, Slovakia. All right, but when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne. So the Lord took him down from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was like the wild asses. So he became a brute beast. He became wild in mind, crazy. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High power ruled in the kingdom of man. Heavy. And that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. So Lord appoint over whoever he want. Lord save whoever he want. Lord kill whoever he want. Right? That's it is what it is, man. Right? You believe or you don't. That's how we see it, man. Right? Right. And it's also gonna get into Nebuchadnezzar's son Belshazzar, et cetera, et cetera. But I'm gonna jump down and get let's start at verse 26. This is the interpretation of the thing. Power have numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Right? Thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Right? And let's go down. Let's jump down a couple more verses. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 32 years old. So he was 32 years old when he took the kingdom. When Darius the Great, as I was saying, when that Medo-Persia was finally that it's fully ushered in, you know, when it was fully ushered in, that Medo-Persian Empire, Darius the Great, Darius the Great, the first, was 32 years old, man. All right. So let's keep going. All right, I have more on that. Got more to get on that. This is Daniel 6:1. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which shall be over the whole kingdom. Right, and this is going into Daniel get thrown in line then in this next chapter, you know, in chapter 6. So, but Darius was reigning during this time, right? So think about that, Israel. Remember that. Who was reigning during the time when Daniel was thrown in line? Then it was Darius, the Median, right? So if you read chapter 6, but I'm not even going to go into all chapter 6 for the sake of time, because it's pretty long chapter. But if you get down, we're gonna jump over, and I want to get what I want to get. Okay, I want to get. Let's start at verse 23. Daniel 6:23. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. Basically, this is after Daniel showing that the Lord is power over everything. In better words, that he didn't want to get touched, and that he kept the faith, etc., etc. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his power. See that? And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the den of lions. Them, their children, their wives, and the lions had them mastery of them. So the lions ate them. The ones that lied on Daniel. The ones that lied on Daniel got thrown in the lions' den. Daniel didn't get touched, but they got touched by the lions. Ain't that something? So imagine how hungry these lions were for them. You know what I'm saying? Then imagine the power of the Lord being amongst Daniel, man. Right? To not get touched by these hungry lions, man. A pride of lions, or a pack of lions, for better words. And break all their bones in pieces. Always had mastery of them, break all their bones in pieces. And ever they came at the bottom of the den. So they got killed by lions. They got eaten to death. Right? And it says, let's keep going. Then King Darius wrote unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the power of Daniel. So with Daniel not being touched, this is how, with Daniel showing himself to have that faith in Yahweh Shema Shah, this is how we showed ourselves to be holy. This is how we showed ourselves to glorify the Lord, man. The Lord showed himself, he shows us, he uses us, man. Right? He used Daniel, because Daniel was a messenger. He was a seer. So he talked about each kingdom, right? He was an interpreter of dreams, right? Or visions, for better words. Right? So, but you just see the power of the Lord. You see how the Lord can use one person, right? And how that one person just, man, confound a ruler, and that ruler decree into all the earth that this Israelites ruler is supreme over all, even my ruler, man. And that's what we pushing, man. We pushing a full 100, right? We on all gas, no brakes, man. Right? So let me keep going. For he is the living power and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. Boom. Even King Darius said this, man. King Darius dead. Right back in the reincarnation. But King Darius during this time, hey, come on now. Right, let's keep going. Slankia. Verse 27. He delivereth and rescueth, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and in earth. And who hath delivered Daniel from the power of the lions? So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Right? So again, when you get into King Cyrus was a Persian, but King Darius was a Median, for better words. But again, it's Medo-Persian Empire was like a joint empire, right? So you had, and I'm bringing out kings that was ruling, you know what I'm saying, during these times, right? So when you get into, I wanted to get that. When you read Isaiah 45, that goes into Cyrus as well, but I wanted to get Second Chronicles. All right, Second Chronicles. All right, in 22, 36, Second Chronicles 36 and 22. Now in the first year of of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord Yahweh spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, the Lord Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth have the Lord, power of heaven, given me, right? He have charged me to build him an house in Jerusalem, which is in Judea, who is there among you of all his people. The Lord Yahweh, his power, be with him and let him go up. Right. So this during that time of King Cyrus, he allowed us to return to our land, allowed us to go back to the land through the power and spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, for better words. Right. He was allowed to, if I'm not mistaken, to return from Babylon, right? And if I'm not mistaken, to getting accustomed of rebuilding the temple, right, during this time. Right? Alright, so I wanted to get that, and let's get Nehemiah, where's my labels? That's Nahum. Alright, let's get Nahum. I mean Slakia. Nehemiah. um Nehemiah chapter 12 and verse. And do I want to get this? Yeah, I ain't gonna get this. I ain't gonna get that. It ain't no. That's for me bringing out some other information some other time. Let's go back to Daniel. Daniel 1 and verse. Oh, kind of just a proof point I brought out earlier. Because Daniel continued envy to the time of King Cyrus. It says Daniel 1 and 21, and Daniel continued even until the first year of King Cyrus. Right. So again, there was a lot of rulers, there was a lot of joint, a lot of like joint, how can I say, advising of ruling going on amongst the Medes and the Medians and the Persians, man. All right, if you keep going through this 5th century BC, again, the Babylon Empire is totally gone, right? You had King Xerxes come in, Xerxes the First. And if you get into Xerxes the First was who we seen ruling like the time frames are different in the movie 300. But really, if you watch the 300 Rise of the Empires or the second movie first, you're supposed to watch that one. That one's supposed to be first because that goes into Themistocles, and it goes into what was going on during the time of King Darius ruling, right? Because during the time of the 300 champions, the battle of the 300 champions, which is the 300 Spartans, Xerxes was ruling. So that was afterwards. So it was kind of like the Matrix. You had to watch it in different orders. Which they need to make another one because there's a lot of more history they got to bring out when it comes to the Spartans. But that article that I'm going to put up in the description box talks about that the Spartans could be our brothers. They call them some areas on earth call them the sons of Keturah. Some areas call them the brothers of the Jews or descendants of a tribe of the Jews, you know. And again, it gets into them Seminole Indians, man, as I was going into them warrior tribe Indians that stayed over there and was still Hellenized in that area, right? And I mean, you can go into, you can read it yourself. You can read the whole little article that I'm gonna put up in the description box. It'd be for edification sakes. Okay, but during the time of the battle of the champions of the 300 Spartans, of the 300 Israelites, because that's what they were, right? 300 Israelites, Hellenized Israelites that consider themselves to be Greeks, right? Xerxes the First reigned 485 to 465 BC, right? That was during the time of 300, during the time of Leonidas, right? Okay, you keep going. After Xerxes, you had Artaxerxes the First, who reigned after Xerxes. That was from 465 BC to 424 BC, right? Like, so this is all the kings. I'm going to. I already said 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 6th ruler that's been ruling in the Medo-Persian Empire. It was a short span, and during this time, during Artaxerxes the First, during this time, it was the battle. It was the first Peloponnesian War, right? For Peloponnesian War, the first one, right? During the time of Artaxerxes the First and Darius the Second. And Darius II was reigning from 424 to 404 BC. So during this time, from 465 to 404 BC, Artaxerxes the First, then you had Darius II reigning. Then you had that first Peloponnesian War going on as well. All right, so if you get past these rulers, these sons and descendants, you go into the 4th century BC, right? And this is coming into almost getting into the time where the Medo-Persian Empire was getting ready to be taken over by the Greek Empire. Then Alexander the Great coming in and taking over, right? When the Lord set them up to rule and to conquer, right? So we get into the 4th century BC. You got Artaxerxes II ruling 404 BC after Darius II, 404 BC to 358 BC. You have Artaxerxes III ruling 358 BC to 338 BC, right? And if you look, that's during the time it's coming up real close to 331 BC when during the time of the end, 338. Then you keep going. That's why I said the Lord was taking them out real quick, just like how he was taking out the Caesars, right? If you get into, if I'm not mistaken, the 12 feathers that goes into some of those Caesars, the Lord was taking them out. They was only ruling a short time, just boom, taking them out. I'm gonna set up you. I'm taking you out. Setting up another Caesar. Take you out, setting up another one. Right. So the Lord was doing the same thing with these Medo Persians, man. Right. And going to Artaxerxes the third, 358 BC to 338 BC. Then Artaxerxes the fourth, 338 BC to 336 BC. And you got Darius the third, right? So it was a lot of Xerxes, a lot of Dariuses, right? You got Darius the third, 336 BC to 330 BC, right? So Darius the third was one of the last rulers of the Medo-Persian Empire, for better words. And then behind him, you had Artaxerxes the fifth, 330 to 329 BC. Around that time, 330, the Greek Empire was already ushering in. 331, it says from to 329, 330 to 329. So the Greek Empire was already rushing in, already started to take over this empire, for better words. If you understand that history, brothers and sisters out there, all right? All right. So kind, and Lord willing, this is edifying, man, because that's all I had, man. It was just something that I wanted to bring up. But these are some kings that we need to be familiar with. At least a few of them. You had 6th century, Xerxes the Great. Slanky. Cyrus the Great. Right, you had Cambyses the second, Bardia right? You had Darius the first. 5th century, you had Xerxes the first, Artaxerxes the first, Darius the second. 4th century, you had Artaxerxes the second, Artaxerxes the third, Artaxerxes the fourth, Darius the third, and Artaxerxes the fifth, man. Before Alexander the Great came in as the cheetah, right, or the leopard, or whatever you want to call it, right, with the couple heads. And those heads represented his generals, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So, Lord willing, this was edifying, man. I just wanted to go into, I said I was going to get all the way into this empire, for edification's sake, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of brothers, the beloved brother, Bakar Moth, he goes real deep into some history, so he do various inspirational videos, and brothers go subscribe to him. If you're not, because he do inspiration videos. He definitely go into which made me want to get into, before I get into the Roman Empire, I got to go into the 10 horns that were before the 10 horns that we know now. Which is what I say again. This took me just to break down the Medo-Persian Empire and get into a lot of these rules. It took me it's been almost a month now, man. So these are not just some easily Bible scriptures you just jump into. I'm gonna eat it all up. No, study. Write down what important that you need to bring out in your videos. Because it's a lot of historical facts that that Israelites don't even bring out. You see it in a lot of these accounts. They don't bring out none of the historical facts. They don't bring out things that happen, right? They don't bring out who was ruling at the time. And you even seen they was talking about Jeremiah during certain times, right? During certain times of these empires, right? Prophesying and stuff, man. So we gotta think about the time frames. These were years and years and years, man, of things happening, man. So, Lord willing, man, Lord willing, this is edifying, man. Lord willing. Study should ourselves approve, a workman need not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. All right. So, Lord, we're going to give all praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hawadash. All praises to the Heavenly Father, who the word ignorant calls God. His one and true name is Yahweh. In the name of his only begotten Son, who the word ignorant calls Jesus Christ. His one and true name is Yahweh Shai. In the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the elder apostle, elder bishops of Great Millstone. Still be well, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom, shalom. Right? Shalom, shalom, wa ba ba ba. Shalom, wa barakim, la bakar, yasha Allah, shinikabak, ala wa ukab, la zakwana, wa hashayakina, wa yasha Allah ba'ai. Right? Again, shalom to the beloved brothers out there. Right? Double honors to the elder apostles, elder bishops of great millstones, to well. All right, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, to the house of David, Shalom. All right, call Halim, Alahan, Nabi Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shah. All right, Shalom, 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 Israel.